Hi everyone, it's just James here, okay? Bringing you yet another video. Oh my god, you guys, I am so excited. This is going to be a sort of like half talk, half voiceover. I wanted to give you guys a virtual hair tutorial. I'm going to style a wig on my doll's head, and I will be doing it on camera as I would on James Mansfield's YouTube channel. So, just to walk you through some of my materials that I use an iPad. This is just a standard iPad. I got this with like my credit card points. Like I built up enough credit to where I could get a redeemable purchase. So I got the iPad. Got the Apple Pencil with that. That's very vital. You have to have this. This is your brush. This is your comb. This is what's going to do all the back combing, going to bring all the volume. You need this more than anything. Your most valuable hair tool when it comes to virtual hairstyling. Now, for the program I'm using Nomad Sculpt. That's my personal favorite. It's the one I know. It's the easiest to pick up, in my opinion, if you're just beginning or just trying to get into 3D modeling. It's a really, really easy program to pick up. I recommend watching Drug-Free Dave. He's who I learned from. And honestly, makes some of the most easy, foolproof tutorials to learn to give you the basics on how to use Nomad Sculpt and dip your toe into 3D modeling. Now, let's get started and style some hair, shall we? Okay, so first things first, I'm going to boot up my program. I'm going to pull up our model, which is this lovely gal right here. And we're going to start off by doing some spheres. Now, I use lots and lots of spheres when it comes to this, all right? So, resizing it with the gizmo, that's this little guy right here, I'm going to size it up onto the head to create sort of like the idea of what I want to go. I always start with circles and just kind of go from there. Using the move tool, make sure I take off symmetry. That's very important. Take off your symmetry. You're going to realize like what the fuck is going on when you're trying to mold something because it's molding things from both ends. You don't want that. I'd rather just mold something from one end and just poke and prod and go around. Sort of like, you know, I'm smoothing out a wig. So, using my tool, I am going to move this around onto the head to create shapes. And from there, get it as big and as stretched out as I can because we're going to remesh this and everything to where it's going to look nice and smooth. It's going to start to look a little wonky after a certain point when you poke and prod at it enough. And I'm kind of deciding as I go what I want to do with the hair. Like I'm trying to decide if like I want the hair to go behind the ears or be tucked in front to create sort of like a nice little spit curl. Like very 60s style. I think that's the direction I started going with this. And I also want to make sure the earrings still showed. It's little choices like that when you're like creating hairstyles, especially like on dolls like this with the molded hair. You have to decide like, okay, if I do this, do I want the ears to show or not? Because that could factor in a lot. I use a combination of the move and the drag tool. The drag tool, and you can resize how much it actually grabs. That little circle is like giving you the idea of like how much of it it's grabbing from like very, very small chunks to huge amounts. It just kind of goes from there. When it comes to doing vintage hairstyles, I always say the easiest way to go about this is to think of round shapes because every kind of vintage hairstyle is a very, very, very round shape. So if you're doing like a Maryland flick, it's like a roller coaster going up, then it dips and comes around. And on the subject of the Maryland flick, I am going to use another sphere and just use the drag tool and the move tool and a combination of that back and forth with different size axes to basically mold out the shape I want, making a real fat area where the forehead goes and then thinning it out and curving it outward to create that nice like hook flick. It also helps to do this using the crease tool on a very, very small axis, just to like kind of draw out and sketch out where you want like the hair to go. It makes it look a little more natural, a little more realistic, rather than just like a flat, you know, surface. It gives a little more detail and a little more depth. And also the inflate tool helps add a bit more of a crease to it as well. Just makes it look more like hair. That's the kind of structure that goes into doing bubble flips and all sorts of stuff like that. When it comes to doing like finger waves and things like that, it might get a little more complicated, but let's just start with something easy, okay? We're going to do a bubbly Maryland flick. A bubble cut with a Maryland flick is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the inflate tool right here. I have it set to a really low axis, and I'm going to drag it throughout the hair, and it's going to create like bumps throughout the hair, so it looks more like a styled hair, like kind of like you look at like big hairstyles. There's creases and peaks and valleys in the hair, and it's just going to make it look more like it's actually hair rather than just like a big round sphere on their head. Less of a helmet and more just like creating a realistic hair look. And again, just keep a close eye on the hairline and like use your move tool, like set this different sizes and just kind of like push it in and outward to create more of like a realistic depth. Like when you look at like bangs, especially like swirly bangs like this, there are like peaks that happen in it. You can see like places where shadow would naturally fall and where the hair is like cascading over. That's what you want to like pay attention to, especially on like the front bang here, the Maryland flick, and the side part here. And I decided last minute I wanted to create like an extra bit of fringe on the face, so I'm going to create yet another sphere and just mold and shape that with the move and the drag tool, resizing it to different axes so I can just access different areas and pull and prod it to where I want it to get that nice hook shape. This one's gonna be a bit of a smaller, more stylized one that's gonna go on the other side to create sort of like a stylized fringe you would see in like a 1960s like wig catalog. And again, when it comes to 1960s hairstyles and making it in 3D modeling, your best friends are going to be the move and drag tools, as well as your inflate and your creases. And I'm doing a combination of that. Like I use the crease tools to sketch out how I want to do this, like where I want like certain lines to fall. And then I'll use the inflate on varying sizes to create depth and create more realism in the hair and more peaks and valleys. And just do that all over the hair and just undo whatever you don't like or smooth it out with the smooth tool. That's also your best friend. You want it to look nice and smooth. And then finally, we change our hair color to a nice blonde, and we are done. And just for shits and giggles, a parade of my favorite hairstyles I've done so far. We have this glamorous page boy, this cutesy-wootsy Jane Mansfield-inspired hairstyle, this fantastic peekaboo bang, this vampira-inspired do. Look at the layers. Look at those curls. This Betty Page-inspired hairstyle. Love it. So cute. This barrel curl updo, look at her. Classic bubble cut, oh my gosh, yes. This Marilyn inspired do, so classic, so cute. And this fantastic pullback Diana Dors inspired hairstyle with a clip. And voila, we have a beautiful bubble cut wig on this doll's head with a Marilyn flick. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. I hope this was informative. It's a little new for me. It's merging the worlds, you know, it's me, the 3D designer, merging with the drag queen hairstyles extraordinaire. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is my little process of how I do the wigs on the dolls, the molded hair. And hopefully, you know, it gets you dipping your toes in the 3D modeling and playing around with hairstyling. This is a useful tool if you're doing dolls or even if you're doing something like making things for The Sims. Just try it out, see how you like it, and show me some of your results. Be sure and share them with me. I'd love to see it. Be sure to join our Discord server. We have a doll server page where a lot of our community has been sharing their creations on Nomad Sculpt. It's super cool. I'm so proud of you guys. Keep it up. It's amazing work. You make me more proud every single day. I'm so glad to see other people are picking up 3D modeling and just getting more artistic and more expressive with their time. That's super cool. And remember, if you like my dolls, you can purchase them on my website, www.jaymesmansfieldbeauty.com. Just hit that drop-down menu and go to Art by James. I post dolls on there pretty frequently, so if you like to own a piece of art by yours truly, they're there. I usually will like announce I'm dropping things here and there on the community page. Just, you know, subscribe. Consider sticking around here, being a friend, being a family. We're a family here, all right? Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, dolls are fun, and dolls are for everyone. All right? Take care of yourselves. Bye!